alaikum. Jazakallah khair for all of the very pertinent messages. I'm a teacher in a secondary school. I teach in a predominantly Muslim area. It's actually predominantly boys because of the demographics of that area. And one of the things I find really sort of interesting is obviously a lot, and it's a very deprived area as well. So we have lots of problems in the school. But in terms of the Muslim kids specifically, what's really interesting is on parents' evening, you will have some of the parents coming in, and I'm quite taken aback because some of the sisters come in fully covered, the brothers are really practicing in their conversations with you, get an understanding that, and from your interactions with the children as well, that they taught them Quran, they've sent them madrasa, they've done all of those things that often we think are the things that you need to do to raise a Muslim child. But in the classroom, and people want child in particular, his language, the way he treats other people, his attitude towards elders and teachers, the way he speaks to girls even, it really is it's so reflective, subhanAllah, of what he's absorbed from the culture around him.
Hence the shabab, the youngsters, aim to shubha. Usually if someone is neglecting the deen, the religion, it's one of three reasons, and you can sort of take it in those three steps. It starts with the shubha, some kind of doubt, some kind of something that I don't know, that leads then, or is coupled with shahwa, desires, with things around, so sort of justifies the reason to doubt in religion, and then why am I not enjoying what the others around me are enjoying? And then Instagram comes in place, and TikTok and things like that. That's the next step. And then leads into kibr, arrogance. Once you have the third step, once shaitan, is there, that's a very difficult one. The arrogance one. Because you may understand your religion, but I'm just, may Allah protect our children from having that. So identify. Where are they? What is exactly? Because if it, as the Sheikh said, if it is a one about doubts, that's an easy one. Doubts can be dealt with and bring them back immediately, alhamdulillah. If it's coupled with shahwa, desires, now we bring the long game. Now you need to establish that it's not worthwhile going down that road. It will lead inevitably to problems with mental health, with things. It's going to break you, right? And if they then lead into kibr, may Allah protect us. A lot of dua. At that point, it's a lot of dua. Anyway, it's one of those three that are usually bringing the shabab away. So try to identify where are they, what can you do, and sometimes a combination of them, and that will lead then into the next one there. That's where we need to understand the culture that is around us. That's what the sister mentioned. And she's absolutely right. Yes, there are many parents who will outsource many things, who are sending them to madrasa and clubs and whatnot, but they haven't actually established a rapport with their children, ways of communication with their children. That is really, really dangerous. And sometimes it's a cultural barrier there, a language barrier, or just a barrier of, I don't know what's happening around me because I'm just in the masjid and back. If you have children, you need to make time to understand what is going in your life, in the life of your children. The Prophet ﷺ saw Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu walking. He was walking and he was sitting. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu was sitting. He was sitting in an unusual place. Abu Hurairah was there to just, hadith in Sahih Bukhari, he was there to ask a question whoever comes across, not because he needed to ask a question, but he was hoping that someone will pick him up and go with him home. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu came, he asked the question, Abu Bakr answered and he went. Omar came, he answered the question, he went. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam came, saw him, and he said, Ya Aba Hir. He didn't even ask the question. Abu Hurairah didn't even ask the question. He said, Ya Aba Hir, ilhaq, come with me. The Prophet ﷺ knew why he is sitting there. He knew what is happening in the lives of the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. Get to know. That is even more important when it's with your children. Get to know what's happening around them. How can you be against TikTok if you don't even know what TikTok is, or allow them. Do you understand what I'm saying here? I'm not saying go on to TikTok. Just be careful and know what's happening. Really, really important. And to create that rapport, really, what I found as a good way of opening those ways of communication is really traveling with your children. Make time. We spoke about it. I gave you the principle of the gardener. One of them was to strike that rapport and to travel, to go to camps, make time every weekend, trying to make time for your family. I had so many duties on my shoulders and so many invites. I had to make a day where I say I will cancel, with some exceptions, every invitation I'm getting on that day, because that day is for my family. I will accept it on other days, but on that one day, I will make time for my family. And I'm trying to plan actively every weekend what is going on. Is it a bike ride with my son? Is it a hike in the forest? Oh, it's not good weather. Doesn't matter. There's no bad weather. There's only backloads. Do you get my point here? Get them out. Get to do something. Once you lose that, the battle is a long game. May Allah protect us. It's never too late. But yes, keep it up.
Don't ever underestimate the dua. Pray for your children. Pray for them all the time. Pray for them every salah. And pray for your parents. Put them together. رب اغفر لي ولوالدي and اللهم هب من أزواجي وذرياتي قرة أعين واجعلني للمتقين إماما. Always dua, الدعاء الدعاء. جزاكم الله خير.
My question is, today's topic is about it takes a village to raise a child. Before the village comes into a place, the home is the main part, the main thing, in children's life. What would your advice be on children from a broken home, and especially, if one of the parents is toxic, especially if the father is a toxic, and the father is the main shepherd in the house, and they're the one who is to teach the family, what rights and wrongs and the pain. If the father is a toxic and only a mother can do so much, and these children are grown in toxic home, when they're a teenager, they did not learn any Islam, they did not learn anything, because only the mother can do so much. Oftentimes the mother gets the blame. If the child does anything bad, it's always the mother's fault. If the child does anything good, then it's the father's good doing. So if the children are grown in a toxic home and did not learn their ethics or morals or the right either, only a mother can do so much. The mother can't take the little children to masjid or classes. They can only do so much. They can only do their duty, whatever they can. These children, they may not wear hijab, or they may not pray. So what would you do with these children?
Okay, let me start off with this one because I deal with this a lot, unfortunately. Now, it doesn't matter where you are, okay? It doesn't matter what situation you are in. You need to make the best of it. That's the whole point. Remember, we said Islam is about maximizing the benefits and minimizing the harms. That's the way the Sharia operates. So you're in a situation here. Things have happened. You're nowhere near an ideal situation. It doesn't matter. You have a responsibility. In front of Allah, you have a responsibility. You have to do what you can. As long as you've done what you can, you're absolved in front of Allah. Because at the end of the day, the scholars of the past, our tradition is summarized like this. As-salahu min Allah. Yani having that child who is pure and sincere to Allah, that only Allah controls that, because He's the only one who controls the hearts. وَالْأَدَبُ مِنَ الْآبَاءِ. As for the mannerisms and refinement in that area, then that's upon your shoulders as a parent. That's what you're meant to do. Show them this way, show them that way. Right. Hasn't happened in the past. Doesn't mean you can't show them from now. Keep the relationship open, show them love. Okay, that whole thing about toxicity in the family and how it's been like that, and your relationship, the relationship between the spouses was toxic, etc. That doesn't mean or give a parent or either parent a unilateral right to prevent the other parent from their children. Islamically, you can't do that. No matter what you are, who the law sides with, you're not allowed to do that. Because that is a right of the child. Yes, they need to be safe, but you need to facilitate that because that is the right of the child. Okay? Right. If they can't get certain things from that parent that they still need, they don't have a good male role model for them in their lives, then get one. Okay? What does that mean, sisters? Get one. What does it mean, get one? It can be, get married again. If you're divorced, can mean that. It can mean outsource it.
Use that one.
Well, one thing that I'm often concerned about is that quite often I'll have a mentor or a parent or a teacher just expecting me to know something, like as if I just pick it up from my surroundings. But this is not 1997. The posters you see outside are not going to be promoting what a person actually needs, especially someone as moldable as a youth. So I think there'll be, especially from organizations, teachers, that needs to be much more aimed at just bluntly saying, this is right, this is not just expecting you to pick it up yourself. Although there is an element of giving you an issue and getting you to solve it yourself in some cases, but that's with farm work, not with Islam. Islam is not comparable to farm work at all, in any way at all. So I think that's one of my only concerns at this point in time.
Round of applause for the sisters. Sisters, round of applause, please. Brothers, takbir. Excellent. Jazakallah khair for that, Suhaib. Barakallah feek.
May Allah bless your parents. May Allah bless your parents. As soon as he stood up there, you knew this. He's been nurtured. This one. As soon as he started speaking, mashallah, his parents have really put in the time and effort. But he highlighted a really good point here, and this is what, when we talk about tarbiyah, the greatest thing, and he hit the nail on the head. The greatest thing we can give them is the vantage point that we have as shepherds. Yeah, we can see the challenges. But what we've done, we stuck our heads in the sand and not made them aware of the challenges. He's just told us very straight, you know what? The time we're living now, we need clarity. What is right and wrong? It's been messed up so badly, we can't decipher what's right and wrong now. We're living in that time the Prophet ﷺ told us about. Right looks to be wrong, and wrong looks to be right. That's what he's telling us. Right, so they want clarity because it's difficult to decipher. The only way they're going to get that clarity is a long-term nurturing with that education along with it, and then they'll be able to decipher, no matter what comes in their way, right and wrong. But that's a deep level of knowledge for every situation. Now we're meant to be able to look ahead and see, these are the challenges for you. You know what? This is the consequence if you go down this line. This is the consequence if you go down that line. And then, what do you want to do? If you do that, this is the likely thing that's going to be the result. Teach them that. To start processing, right, this is how I think about making a choice. That's a great tool we can give to them. Problem is, most parents, what have they done? Here's a smartphone. 10-year-old, 11-year-old, here's a smartphone. That child is doomed now. That child is doomed. Okay? Atheism, they get onto these things, they can't handle the doubts, they get onto TikTok, they're indulging in this. Yani, these kinds of addictions that our youth are experiencing now, and even into early adulthood and then through their marriages as well, which cause marriage breakdowns, they got into it because of this exposure. We're meant to see the dangers, warn our children before they get there, prep them. What we've done is we've put it in their hands. It's a problem. We need to mitigate it. No matter how hard it is, if we don't mitigate it now, we're going to have so many problems which are much worse, and we won't be able to deal with it. We're already 30 years behind the game. 30 years behind the game. Sister mentioned LGBT. This has been moving for 40 years. We're at least 30 years behind it. The game on this. How has it moved from where it was, hated by the world, now promoted by every single media outlet who has power? They've been playing this game for about 40 years, and we just got into it now. You know? Now we need to work twice as hard.
Because I'm the oldest, that's why I'm always pushing. Even I'm older than Sheikh Shakur.
Really? MashaAllah, you look good for your age. MashaAllah.
Jazakallah. I think because
Yeah, don't mention
have
it now.
more than one wife.
He had to mention it.
Jazakallah. The sisters, don't get upset, okay? This is the reality. I'm done.
It's 40 hours, so we've got some problems, don't worry.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah. That's good. You're a good bodyguard anyway. This sister who had this issue, my advice to her, inshallah wa ta'ala, is, as my brother Shakur mentioned, it's never too late. Change her friends. And it's important as a families, as Muslim families, to create our own environment, our own visiting, integration between our children. And as I said, not from only one community. Intermix. We need to change that. And your child feels that he's a Muslim or she's a Muslim when they see this family from this part of the world visiting this other family of that other part of the world, and relationship. On the other hand, don't use force. Gently try to make her understand, and also to be explained, like girls on her age, to say to her, like, you know, to wear the hijab is beauty and this, that. This kind of things might help a lot. It's very important. Because when you tell her, she feels like it's an order. But when her friend or the family friend who comes visits you talks to her about the hijab, and look the way I'm wearing, I've been wearing for this amount of years. And I always say as well to my brothers and my sisters, start the hijab with your daughters in a very early age. Why this issue come up now when she become 10, 11? Because you haven't started with her when she was in 6 and 7. I remember one brother was telling me, may Allah bless him, and his daughter, she understands the way that your boy understands he cannot go out without shoes. She understood as well that she cannot go out without hijab. As soon as she wants to go out, she puts her hijab on. Because this link to going out, and that's from very early age. We don't live in a Muslim society. And we see a lot, because I've been in this country for 33 years. And I taught all different levels. Now, mashallah, those who I married them off, I married them off their children as well, alhamdulillah.